let's say that we're not able to get APs on the ceiling mounted here, and we had to move them onto the wall. This is not an optimal design, but we could then edit that access point, place it on the wall, orient it.
And that would just change the one. If you select all the APs on the left-hand side and make the change, it would affect all of them.
But you want to be cautious but when you want to be cautious when you're doing that, because if you've got them on this wall and you change the orientation, you're going to have to go into each one and do the direction, the way that it's mounted with the wall independently.
You can still do what you just did and multi-select the ones on one wall.
So there I did those two.
Amount of time. Show the visualization of just one AP. Instead of all my access points up top, choose only the selected. And let's look at just one. The next box over.
Yeah.
There we go.
Thank you.
And just pick one. And you can see it's still getting coverage out in the aisles where someone would be, but we would need to have other APs out there to supplement that coverage, because that AP is only going about halfway in with what the person needs. So you might actually have to put an AP directly across from it, obviously on a different channel. It makes the channel planning a little more complex, but it provides the coverage as needed in an area where you're not permitted to put anything on the ceiling for some reason. It could be fire code, or it could be that the customer just doesn't want ceiling mount.
It also could be that you have a IDF over here and you only have the proper distance to get cable to this area right here, and you can't get out further because of distances. Or it could be because the customer doesn't want to go through the hassle of mounting to maybe the ceiling, or dropping poles to create an access point mounting out here in the middle. They don't have the ability to do the scissor lifts. They want to do ladder installation. There's a number of reasons why they may want to do that. Normally, if it were me designing and making recommendations, I'm going to recommend putting APs zigzag throughout the environment, not on the walls.
I would use walls only to supplement, and only when I couldn't get the coverage from the ceiling.
And the problem with the walls is that if you had to create a coverage model and say over here, in order to get, then we'll do multiple selection here.
And what happens if you put it on the wall and a worker parks a pallet of product in front of the AP? Where's your coverage?
Yeah, your coverage goes away. Additionally, when you look at this, there's clear line of sight between these access points, if you had 4 of them on the walls up here, with no barriers whatsoever. So these areas here are going to have a lot of overlap. And with 3 access points on that wall, they're all going to have strong signal between each other. And this area here is going to get overcrowded with RF. Whereas out here will be fine, but up here in this area, you may have contention due to the number of access points that are overlapping each other in this area. So it's always best if you have barriers throughout the warehouse, just like putting APs in rooms instead of hallways. The idea is zigzagging your access points to create a good coverage model with at least 2 or 3 access points in every area for redundancy.
There used to be a theory in Wi-Fi design where for roaming, you wanted 30% cell overlap. And for bridging, you wanted 50%. But I've always challenged somebody to walk out into a warehouse and show me 30% where they're standing. You can't do that, but you can plan for signal strength at certain places. So if I need to know I've got a certain signal strength for the handsets to work or the phones or whatever to work, I can plan for that and I can visualize that. And I can see where that cell overlap still provides the coverage, yet gives the client device an opportunity to roam if necessary. But I can't really visualize 30%. I can't see that. I might be able to calculate it, but I don't just see it. So it's much more accurate when you do something like this, and you've got really good coverage meeting the client's requirements versus looking for, percentages of overlap and things of that nature. So if you run across somebody that tells you the percentage of overlap has to be X, you can't visualize that. I don't know how that is. I can tell you I need this signal strength. That's a quantifiable thing. I can measure that, but I can't walk out into a warehouse and tell you where I'm standing. I've got 30% overlap from these two APs.
No.
I can tell you how I receive them, but I have no idea what the overlap percentage is. It's about the RSSI values on the client device.